Imagine pouring every drop of your soul into raising a child, sacrificing your dreams, your health, your very breath, only for them to turn around and spit on your grave. How does a mother's love, so pure and unbreakable, become the key to her own betrayal? In the quiet village of Yumo, one woman's story will chill your heart, twist your soul, and leave you questioning. Can you ever escape the price of betraying the one who gave you life? Tonight, we unravel the haunting tale of Adanna, a mother whose love was her greatest gift and her deadliest curse. Stay with us, because what happens next will leave you speechless. In the heart of Yumo village, where the sun scorched the earth and the nights whispered secrets, lived a woman named Adanna, known to all as Mama Neka. Her life was a tapestry of pain, woven with threads of love for her only son, Kelechi. Widowed at a young age, Adanna's husband, Okoro, met a brutal end when Kelechi was just 4. A collapsing wall at a construction site stole his life, leaving Adanna with nothing but a small mud house, a grieving heart, and a child who needed her to be everything. From that day, Adanna's world became a battlefield. She fought hunger, poverty, and despair to give Kelechi a chance at a better life. By dawn, she trekked miles to gather firewood, her bare feet blistered from the hot earth. By noon, she washed clothes for wealthy families who often paid her with scorn instead of coins. By night, she carried basins of water on her head, her back aching, her chest tight with unspoken sorrow. Every naira she earned went to Kelechi. His school fees, his patched uniforms, his dreams she prayed would outlive her. There were nights when Adanna drank Gary water to quiet her growling stomach, lying to Kelechi that she'd already eaten. She turned down suitors, ignored her own needs, and let sleep become a stranger. Her love for Kelechi was her fuel, her fire, her reason to rise when her body begged to collapse. But love, no matter how fierce, can't shield a child from the world's cruelty or their own resentment. Kelechi was about to notice something that would change everything and break his mother's heart. By the time Kelechi turned 10, his eyes began to see the world differently. He noticed his friend Emeka strutting in crisp uniforms and polished shoes. He saw Nambi unpack fried rice and chicken at school, while he unwrapped plain yam and palm oil in a worn nylon bag. His notebooks were frayed, his pencils stubs. His shoes? They looked like relics from a forgotten war. One humid afternoon, Kelechi stormed into their small house, his school bag hitting the dirt floor with a thud. "Why did you bring me into this world if you can't take care of me?" he shouted, his voice cracking with anger. Adanna, peeling cassava by the stove, froze. Her knife hovered midair. "What's wrong, my son?" she asked softly, her heart already sinking. "What?" Kelechi spat. "Emeka is going to elite academy in the city. Nambi's family is sending him to boarding school. But me? I'm stuck in that useless community school where teachers flog us like animals. Is this what you call a life?" Adanna's throat tightened. She tried to explain, her voice steady despite the pain. "Elite Academy costs 30,000 naira a term, Kelechi. I don't make that in half a year. I'm trying." "Then why didn't you let me die with Papa?" he screamed, his words slicing through her like a machete. "You're useless." Adanna said nothing. She wiped her hands on her wrapper, turned, and slipped into the kitchen, her silence louder than any cry. That night, she boiled yam with red oil and set it before him. Kelechi kicked the plate away, the food spilling onto the floor. "Yam again? Are you feeding me or punishing me?" From that moment, a shadow grew between mother and son. Kelechi's heart hardened, and Adanna's love became his target. But what would happen when his resentment turned to violence? You won't believe what he did next. As Kelechi grew, so did his rebellion. By 15, he fell in with a rough crowd, boys who smoked hemp behind the market and chased girls with reckless abandon. Adanna begged him to stop, her voice trembling with fear. She cried, prayed, and even fasted, hoping her son would find his way back. But Kelechi saw her as the enemy, the source of his shame. One evening, after stumbling home reeking of palm wine, Kelechi found Adanna waiting by the door. She grabbed his shirt, tears streaming down her face. "My son, please don't destroy yourself. You're all I have. Leave me alone," he roared, and in a flash, his hand struck her cheek. The slap rang through the compound, sharp and unforgiving. Adanna's earring clattered to the ground. Neighbors gasped, an elderly woman rushing to intervene, but Adanna said nothing. She bent slowly, picked up her earring, and walked in her room, her dignity bruised but unbroken. That night, she didn't eat. She sat on the floor, clutching a piece of Kelechi's old baby wrapper, staring at the wall as if it held the answers to her son's hatred. Kelechi grew worse. He insulted her openly, stayed away for days, and ignored her pleas. Yet Adanna never stopped. She cooked his meals, washed his clothes, and kept a lantern burning by the window, praying for the day he'd return with a smile. But Kelechi's heart was no longer his own. At 21, he made a choice that would shatter Adanna forever. What did he do? Stay tuned, because the truth will leave you stunned. One morning, Kelechi packed a nylon bag, stole the last 3,000 naira Adanna had hidden in a tin under her bed, and vanished from Yumo village. He left no note, no goodbye. Adanna searched for him tirelessly, asking neighbors, traders, even strangers in nearby towns. No one knew where he'd gone. She waited for a letter, a call, a sign, anything. But silence was her only answer. Adanna's health began to fail. A cough settled in her chest, growing worse with each passing month. Blood stained her handkerchiefs, but she couldn't afford the hospital. She sent word to Kelechi through a friend's son traveling to the city. "Please, tell my son I'm sick. Even 5,000 naira would help me buy medicine." Kelechi received the message but tossed it aside. "That woman wants to drag me back to her misery," he muttered to his new friends in the city. "She's reaping what she sowed." Adanna grew weaker, fainting one day on her way from the market. A young girl helped her home, where she lay on a mat, sipping salt water, her body wasting away. At night, she sat outside, staring at the moon, whispering prayers. "God, don't let my son forget me. Touch his heart." 3 years later, a car horn blared outside Adanna's crumbling house. A man stepped out, rich, polished, and calling her name. Who was he? And what secret did he carry? The answer will break your heart. Adanna peered through her window, her frail hands trembling. A tall man in a tailored suit stepped out of a gleaming black Jeep, his gold watch catching the sunlight. "Mama," he called, his voice deep but familiar. Her heart leapt. "Kelechi," she whispered, barely believing her eyes. "My son." She dropped the spoon she was holding and ran to him, her wrapper slipping as she threw her arms around him. Tears soaked her face. "You came back. I thought you forgot me." Kelechi laughed, his teeth gleaming. "Forget you? Never, Mama. I just wanted to make it big first." He opened the Jeep's trunk, revealing bags of rice, cartons of noodles, new clothes, shoes, and a stack of cash, 150,000 naira. Adanna fell to her knees, sobbing. "God, you've answered my prayers." Villagers gathered, some clapping, others whispering. "Mama Neka, your son is a big man now." That evening, Kelechi cooked for her, pounded yam and egusi stew, a meal she hadn't tasted in years. He fed her, laughing as she ate slowly, savoring each bite. "Mama, let me serve you for once. You've suffered enough." Adanna cried as she ate, her heart full. "I never thought I'd see this day, my son cooking for me." That night, she couldn't sleep. She touched the gifts he brought, thanking God for her miracle. But miracles can hide darkness. Kelechi didn't stay the night. He checked into a hotel nearby, leaving Adanna alone. Why? The truth is more sinister than you can imagine. 2 days before his return, Kelechi had driven to a remote village beyond Succa. In a shadowy shrine, he met a herbalist named Baba Ogun. The old man's eyes gleamed with knowing. "You seek wealth?" he asked. Kelechi nodded, his jaw tight. "I want to be bigger than anyone in Yumo." Baba Ogun leaned forward. "It requires a sacrifice, not of blood, but of timing. Cook for your mother. Let her eat with joy. But do not sleep under a roof. Leave while her heart is full. Her last breath will unlock your eyes." Kelechi left with a small bottle of oil, and a secret he buried deep. That night, Adanna ate his meal, her heart swelling with love. But by morning, the house was silent. She didn't sweep the compound. She didn't light the stove. A neighbor found her on the kitchen floor, foam at her mouth, eyes rolled back, her hands outstretched as if reaching for something or someone. Adanna was dead. The village mourned, but Kelechi's reaction was chilling. What did he do at her funeral? And what price did he pay for his betrayal? Stay with us. The truth is horrifying. Adanna's funeral was unlike anything Yumo had seen. Kelechi spared no expense, hiring a DJ, slaughtering 2 cows, and stacking crates of drinks. The compound overflowed with people, music blaring, smoke from roasted meat thick in the air. Villagers danced, ate, and praised Kelechi. He's honored his mother well, they said. Kelechi, in dark sunglasses, gave a speech. My mother suffered, but I thank God I made her proud before she passed. The crowd clapped, some wiping tears. But an old woman in the back, Mama Ngozi, stared at him silently, her eyes piercing. She stood and left without a word. That night, after the last guest departed, Kelechi stood by the window, a bottle of whiskey in hand. Under the moonlight, he walked to Adanna's fresh grave, the red sand still soft. He chuckled darkly. So this is it, old woman? After all your struggling, you ended here. You called yourself a mother, but you couldn't even buy me a proper school bag. Now your death has made me a king. He spat on the grave, the saliva sinking into the earth. Thank you, Mama, for dying on time. Your blood was the key. He raised his bottle in a mock toast, then turned to leave. But a cold wind grazed his face. He froze, glancing back. Nothing but flowers and soil. He hissed and walked away. Kelechi thought he'd won, but the grave wasn't silent. That night, something followed him home, something that would haunt him forever. What was it? You won't believe what happens next. The next night, Kelechi dreamt of his mother. She stood before her grave, her wrapper muddy, her eyes red and bleeding. You spat on me, she said, her voice low and heavy. You took my love and turned it into profit. The ground remembers, Kelechi. Your wealth will rise, but it will choke you. Your children will bloom, but they'll wither before their time. Your bloodline will end in misery. Kelechi woke up sweating, his heart pounding. Just a dream, he told himself, pouring a drink. But the dreams didn't stop. Money poured in, a 100 million naira contract, land deals, a real estate boom. He moved to Enugu, bought cars, and built a mansion. Villagers called him Chief Kelechi. He married Chidinma, a stunning woman who loved his wealth and asked no questions. They had 4 children, 3 boys, Samto, Chaik, and Ibuka, and a daughter, Adiz. But the dreams grew darker. Kelechi heard weeping at night, footsteps dragging across his mansion. Once he saw Adanna standing at his bedside, her eyes hollow. She vanished through the wall. He consulted pastors, herbalists, even buried charms in his compound. Nothing worked. Then came a dream that changed everything. Adanna's words echoed. 25 is the boundary. What did it mean? And why did Kelechi start watching his children so closely? The answer will terrify you. Kelechi's fear grew. He kept a diary, tracking his children's ages. Samto, 16, Chaik, 15, Adiz, 10, Ibuka, 5. 25 is the boundary, Adanna had said. He became paranoid, checking on his children at night, jumping at their coughs. He stopped traveling, slept in their rooms, and buried more charms. Chidinma noticed his change. You're haunted, she said one night. Kelechi said nothing. How could he tell her he'd sacrificed his mother for wealth? And now their children were cursed. Birthdays became torture. Kelechi clapped with trembling hands, his smile forced. He drank heavily, muttering, maybe I can buy time. But the dreams persisted, graves, his children crying inside them. The mansion grew quiet, fear replacing laughter. Then it began. Samto, 18, complained of headaches after his lavish birthday. Chidinma gave him medicine, but 2 nights later, he died in his sleep, eyes open, lips parted. Chidinma's screams shattered the house. Kelechi didn't cry. He whispered one down. The curse was real, and Kelechi knew it. But the next death came faster than he expected. Who was it? And how did it break his family apart? Stay with us. The pain is just beginning. 6 months later, Chike, 13, collapsed during a school race. The autopsy said heart failure. Kelechi buried him quietly. No guests, no photos. Chidinma stopped speaking to him, sleeping in a separate room. One night, Kelechi overheard her on the phone. "I think I married a monster. His sons are dying, and he's not normal." Adiz, their daughter, withdrew, drawing pictures of graves obsessively. Ibuka, the youngest, asked, "Daddy, are we next?" Kelechi slapped him, his hand shaking. "Never say that." Chidinma left the next morning, taking Adiz and Ibuka. She left a note. "I loved you, but I won't die here." Kelechi laughed, a hollow sound, then fell silent. His empire crumbled next. A fire destroyed his company's headquarters, documents lost. Rumors spread. His wealth was blood money. Partners fled, accounts froze. Kelechi became a ghost in his own mansion. Then Adiz died. Kelechi learned from a Facebook post. "Rest in peace, my angel." Chidinma had moved, her number changed. Kelechi returned home, soaked from rain, alone. That night, Adanna appeared again, her back turned. What did she say? And what was the final blow that broke Kelechi? The end is closer than you think. Kelechi got a call from Chidinma. "Ibuka is sick," she said, her voice cold. "He's not talking, just staring." Kelechi begged her to bring him home, but she hung up. 3 days later, she called again. "He's gone." Kelechi collapsed, screaming, his body shaking. Neighbors found him foaming at the mouth, paralyzed from the neck down. Doctors found no cause. Chidinma never returned. The mansion decayed, stinking of neglect. Only the old gateman, Papa Ease, stayed. One night, Kelechi whispered to Papa Ease, "Take me to my mother's grave." The gateman and 2 boys carried his frail body to Yumo's graveyard. Villagers gathered, some pitying, others cursing. "So the lion crawls like a worm now," they said. At Adanna's grave, rain fell softly. Kelechi wept. "Mama, I see your pain now. I mocked your love, used you for wealth. Forgive me. Take back your curse." The crowd gasped, his confession exposed. "Monster," they shouted. A cold wind swept through. Thunder cracked. Kelechi's eyes closed, his breath stopped. He died at the grave he'd once spat on. They buried him beside Adanna. No ceremony, just silence. Family, what did you think of Kelechi's story? A mother's love is a sacred bond, but when betrayed, it can become a curse that echoes through generations. Never forget the hands that raised you, the sacrifices made in silence. Let this story remind you. Honor your parents, cherish their love, because the earth never forgets a mother's tears, and heaven hears her cries. Drop a comment below. Have you ever seen a betrayal like this? Hit that like button if this story moved you, and subscribe so you don't miss our next tale. Until then, stay blessed and hold your loved ones close.